Fuck's sake. Just another one of those fucking spam calls I ended up getting. Sorry about this. So this is now going to end up getting split in 2 parts. So just at the end of the last part that I've posted up, I got up to 0.5, I believe. Yeah, so I just read out 0.4, which was policies on money printing, inflation, taxation, debauching the currency, industrial decline, and bubbles in the price of houses have made it harder for people to afford to have larger families. I'm now going on to 0.5, and I will continue from there. And I'm sorry that this video has been split up. Thanks, wankers who called me. Right, now that I've got that out of my system, let's continue. Oh, actually, no, I did read from down there. The rare people who have been spoken out against these policies by the oligarchy have seen their lives destroyed. That was 0.5. 0.6. The advocacy of feminism, contraception, abortion have resulted in far lower fertility, ensuring that the population numbers would fall, and thus justifying population replacement. And then point number 7. The selfishness and consumerism are encouraged by the oligarchy as these things enrich and empower the oligarchy and destroy the indigenous communities. The fascist state taxes every purchase you make. And point 8. Schools in Britain reward children if the children endorse the gender confusion, transgender ideology being pushed by the state. In these ways, the oligarchy can be seen implementing genocidal policies. Stroke number 6. Implementing genocidal policies against the indigenous people. And this is the last page. So, I guess it is what it is. In case you think, but the oligarchy are not that powerful, they can't be held responsible for these policies and subsequent behavioural changes, just remember, these are the same people who claim they are able to control the climate. Consider how much taxpayer money has gone into subsidising all the global warming, climate change, renewable energy, propaganda, and schemes over the decades. Then ask yourself, what propaganda and subsidies did they provide to the indigenous people to return the birth rates to what they were before? None. Countries such as Hungary have shown that it is indeed possible for governments to offer ideological and financial inducements to the indigenous population to have more children, but in the liberal democracies controlled by the oligarchy, the money goes into bogus environmental projects, while simultaneously the oligarchy increases the size of the population, thus putting more of a strain on the environment in countries such as Britain. The oligarchy control the political system, the judiciary, the media, the educational system, and virtually every institution in society. They crush anyone who publicly tries to resist their projects. They ensure the population growth is excluded as a part of the cause of the mythical climate change. Let's go with the assumption that the oligarchy can't control the climate, that this was just propaganda so they could siphon off money and riches extracted by the state from us farmed animals. Let's go with the assumption that despite their all-pervasive control of the institutions of society, they can't persuade the indigenous people to have babies. So importing millions of immigrants is the only solution. If the oligarchy has such limited persuasive powers, how are they going to persuade this replacement population to integrate? We will have to assume the oligarchy cannot do this, in which case the future of countries like Britain will be tribal warfare. As conflicting groups come into conflict with each other, the whole purpose of Muhammad's Quran was to prove that the oligarchy have known all along that Islam was a murderous, supremacist ideology. This is proudly expressed in all the core doctrinal documents of Islam, and proven by 1400 years of history of what happens when Islam comes into contact with unbelievers. Islam has bloody borders. The evidence of the population replacement should give people great cause for concern about the future, not only in Britain, but in the whole of Europe. The oligarchy want the public to be stupefied into not opposing the planned future of tribal warfare, where the electorate will be fighting among themselves, leaving the managerial elite to continue to grab more power and riches for themselves. Maybe the only solution to what the oligarchy have brought about will be balkanization, where Britain will break up into different ethnic countries. Muslims in one state, Hindus in another, and a rump of the indigenous British people in another. And we have a load of notes, and it then goes on to chapter 6. But that is going to be all for today's reading. I am sorry this had to be split into 2 videos, as I thought the call was actually important, since it wasn't saying suspected spam like it usually does with O2. Unfortunately, those wankers have now ruined a perfectly good 1-part video. So, as said, this will be split into a second part, which is what this is. And next time we'll be continuing off from page 322. And there isn't that much left now. There's literally not much left of this at all. Appendices, conclusion. I think I found the last page. Yeah. So the last page is actually 344. So I reckon there's going to be about 2 more reading sessions, and then I'll probably have like a little session dedicated, maybe to reading the notes in all this. So there is that. But poll result is going to be that I've had 6 strokes during this little 2-part reading session. And I will see you all in the next one.